Good morning, Adams Tigers. As you know, I am Mrs. Fresh, the principal here at our fine school. We're excited to be kicking off Disability Awareness Day today, and this year's focus is on something called dyslexia. So dyslexia is a disability that is centered around struggling specifically with reading, and as an elementary school educator, that is our primary focus. Every single day we're working very hard to teach children how to read. From TK all the way through 6th grade, we're refining our skills each and every day. And we often find that students struggle with reading. And I just want you to know that that's normal, just like with anything you're trying to learn how to do, maybe swim or ride a bike. It takes practice. But every once in a while, you're really trying something new and you don't feel like you're getting better at it, and you might get extra frustrated. And when you're in school, that can make it hard for you. If you're struggling with reading, for example, then everything about school tends to become a little bit more difficult. So if you're struggling with reading, there are different things that you should do besides just try harder. Ask your teacher for help, listen to all the strategies that they're giving you, and be an active reader and pay attention to all of the things that are difficult for you. And you just might find out that you have a challenge that you need extra help with. So I have this cute little book today that I'm going to read to you, not because I want everyone to think that they suddenly have dyslexia because they're having a hard time reading, but it gives you one child's experience in helping her understand why she's struggling with reading. And the cute thing about this book, boys and girls, is that it's about a little Latina girl, and the book is actually in Spanish, so I'm going to translate it into English, and I hope that you enjoy it. But it definitely shows you that girls or boys and Latinas and white children all may struggle with something as important as reading. This year at school, I will learn to read and write. It will be very fun. There are many books to explore, especially dinosaur books. I learned to make all the letter sounds, but sometimes I find it hard to put sounds together and form a word. I get confused. When this happens to me, I get angry and I feel like leaving everything. But I remember all the books about dinosaurs that I want to read, and so I keep on trying. But every day that passes, I see that I still have problems reading, and I get very sad. Sometimes I feel so sad that I invent that I'm sick so I don't have to go to school. Why can't I read? I put a lot of effort into everything I do. I like to go to school and play with my friends. Normally, I try very hard in everything I do. That's why yesterday, when my teacher stopped for a moment and told me that she wanted to talk to me, I was scared. She told me that she was worried about my performance in class and that she wanted to talk to my parents. The next day, during my parent-teacher conference, my parents learned that I had a hard time reading and writing. She told them that it was necessary to do some tests to help me improve. Maybe there was some reason I could not read well. A few days after I had done all the tests, I found out that I had dyslexia. People with dyslexia read and write the letters backwards and often mix up the words as they read. Dyslexia cannot be cured, but it can be improved with a lot of practice and with special exercises. At first I was scared, but my teacher explained that having dyslexia meant that it would take me more time to learn to read and write than other children. That did not mean that I was not intelligent or that I could not stand out in other things. What I want to say is that with help and a lot of practice, I would learn to read much better, and maybe I would get to do it like all the others. After I learned that I had dyslexia, at school and at home, I received support. At school, I'm in a special class with other children who also have difficulties reading and writing. At home, my parents and I do many fun activities together that are helping me to read. I work hard and I try my best. My reading is improving and I no longer feel sad. I don't even remember the last time I pretended I was sick. And all the books about dinosaurs that I had always wanted to read are even better than I thought. Today in class, my teacher read us poems. I did not know that poetry could be so interesting and that I loved it. I liked it so much that when the teacher asked us to write a poem, I was enthusiastic. I wanted to show them that I already knew how to write better. I used a dictionary to know how to spell words correctly. I was not confused as much as before, and I did not give up. I spent a few days writing my poems, but I did it, and I had a great time. Before, I was afraid to read in front of the class. Sometimes I was so afraid that I hid behind my classmate who sat in front of me, and I hoped that the teacher would not ask me to read. Now, I was anxious to read my poems out loud to my classmates, and I did not even worry so much about making mistakes. After reading my poems in front of the class, everyone stood up and applauded. My teacher said that I had a special talent for writing poetry. I have dyslexia, and that is not a problem. All I have to do is try harder and practice. I need to read, 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 and read. It is worth it, especially now that I've discovered that I have a special talent. Maybe one day I will be as famous as Agatha Christie, Albert Einstein, Leonardo da Vinci, Walt Disney, and Beethoven. They all had dyslexia.
Hello, Adams School Tigers. This is Mr. Garnant here, and welcome to Disability Awareness Day. This year's focus is on dyslexia. Dyslexia is a learning disability that is a kind of a brain processing disorder. So you just don't think the same way as other people in terms of like reading and spelling. 1 in 5 people have dyslexia, about 1 in 5 people. I was one of those people, or I am one of those people who have dyslexia. It made learning how to read and spell very difficult as I was growing up. I had some teachers that supported me and assured me if I worked hard I could do it, and you know, I still, it's hard for me today, but I am able to be successful. I have the tools to write, and I have the tools to read. So I guess the reason why I'm sharing this with you is that a lot of times during my school experience, I had I had other students who could read better than I could and spell better than I could, make me feel bad sometimes because I couldn't. So I want to tell those of you out there that reading comes easy to you and spelling comes easy to you, that kid sitting next to you, or 3 or 4 or 5 kids in your classroom, they're going to be highly intelligent, smart kids, but they're not going to know how to spell very well, and reading is going to be much more of a struggle. So I want you to be empathetic and kind, and don't judge people because it looks like they can't read or spell. It doesn't mean that they're not really intelligent, and they won't be the person that invents the most important invention in the future. All right, so empathy. Thanks.
Hello, I'm Mr. Fetterbush from the Design Center, and I want to talk to you this morning about dyslexia. I have a bit of dyslexia, and when I was in 7th grade, Mr. Olson pulled me aside, my teacher in 6th grade, and he said, "Sean, I know you're smarter than the way you're acting." And it was the first time a teacher really believed in me, and I didn't think I was very smart back then. I didn't think I was very smart because I couldn't read very well. And I started to realize that I was smart, and it was just a matter of practicing reading. And so I'm so inspired at Adams that we have this reading program, and I see so many readers just loving to read, and it makes me so happy, because if I had had that back then, I wouldn't have been such a struggling reader for so long. And I love reading now. It's changed my life. I love reading. It's so important. I so believe in it, and I'm so glad that we have this program at Adams. So I'm here to tell you that, you know, I did struggle, and that challenge made me understand what it's like for other students who are having a hard time reading. And when I see them putting in effort and having some success reading and really enjoying books, it makes me so happy. So I'm here to encourage you. Have a great day.
Professor Boom and the Dyslexic Brain.
Do you guys hear that?
Yeah, that sounds like
Pepper the pigeon!
Pepper thinks differently too. She thinks she's a dog. Hey, what's that she's holding in her beak?
It looks like a flash drive.
It looks like a video from one of our viewers. Let me download it to the Super D computer.
Hi, Super D Kids. It's me, Ariana from California, and I am dyslexic too. And sometimes I wish that I could learn like a non-dyslexic person, because sometimes I feel dumb.
Ariana, you can trust me on this. You're not dumb. And I think our friend Professor Boom can show you how the dyslexic brain is smart too.
Hello, everyone. My name is Professor Boom. Oh, rats. That always happens. Anyways, welcome to my lab. Today, we're comparing brains, and here to help me is my trusty assistant, Hudson. Hudson, bring in the brains. Beautiful. Now, to find the difference between this dyslexic brain and this brain that's not dyslexic, we must first feel both brains. Ooh, yes, very interesting. Ooh, yes, very interesting. Hudson, write this down. They're both gooey, wet, slimy, and what's that word? Slippery. See what I mean? Now, you must smell both brains. Yummy. Smells the same to me. Write that down, Hudson. I sure do hope it tastes better than it smells. I do like exotic food. Sorry. Bon appetit. Dare to try the dyslexic brain, Hudson? All right, then, more for me. Tastes like chicken. Write that down, Hudson. Eureka! Listen to that crunching loud and clear. Hudson, do you hear this? Hudson, come listen. Hudson! Give me that. Now, let's try that again. Wow, it sounds very organized in there. Very fast-paced. Let's listen to the dyslexic brain. My, oh my. Wonderful. Hudson, listen. Well, from what I can tell, both these brains are very intelligent. They just like to do their job in their own way. Right, Hudson? Hudson. Well, we'll see you next time. I'm Professor Boom. And thanks for experimenting with us.
Thanks, Professor Boom.
And Ariana, we hope you learned that thinking differently is also thinking smart.
Bye!